What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, in this video, I'm going to put a link to an article in the pinned comment in the comment section below. And this article talks about something I've read a lot about when it pertains to Wilt Chamberlain over the last couple decades, and that is his strength. Now, you can say what you want to about Wilt Chamberlain as far as on the court is concerned, um, but one of the most amazing things about Wilt Chamberlain is his strength. But it's funny, ever since he died, there have been these naysayers who say, oh, well, that was just exaggeration. I don't think that he could do that. You look at his body size, there's no way that he could do it. He's just too skinny looking, blah, 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 whatever, right? And at the end of the day, you got a lot of people who claim to be experts about shit on YouTube. And, they don't know the hell half the shit they're talking about. Everybody that's a strong man is not shaped like Shaq or Andre the Giant or uh, or Mark Henry, right? One of the strongest persons I've ever encountered, right, is a former supervisor of mine. His name was George West, and George West was an average sized man, 6'1". I think he was a little bit under 200 pounds, but he didn't look huge. I think he was like 190, right? But this guy was he was one of the strongest people. He's actually the strongest person I've ever encountered in my life. Now, I'm a big fucking guy, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm the strongest person in the world, but I'm pretty fucking strong. I couldn't compete with this guy. I used to arm wrestle this dude, and I'm a type of person that could probably win 85 to 90% of arm wrestling contests, right? When I used to arm wrestle this dude, his arm would go nowhere. And I'm trying. I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best. I got so competitive with him. I started doing more push-ups. I started lifting weights, blah 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 blah. And even after doing all of that, I tried to get the drop on him one time. He said, "Oh, I see you a little bit stronger now." I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." This motherfucker actually was trying now, right? Harder and still beat me with ease. I said, "What the fuck is this shit, man?" Yeah, this guy would like lift ridiculous amounts of weight, man. Like when I say weights, I'm not talking about like in the gym. I'm talking about like at work. Most people you would have to use a car jack, not car jack, excuse me, a jack to lift a huge load of pallets, right? Like as far as boxes and shit. This motherfucker, I saw him actually go down on the ground and pick up a pallet, and the pallet had like maybe 10 boxes on it, big boxes. And he picked that bitch up and carried it to the loading dock door. Now we're talking about maybe 25 feet. He said, "Oh, you don't need that. I think I can do it." He was looking at it, said, "Yeah, I can do it." I said, "Man, this guy gonna break. He ain't gonna lift it." And I saw him lift it, and I couldn't believe what the fuck I saw. And like I said, so I'm saying this because people keep talking about you got to have this big, huge. No, no, it's not always the case. Some people are freakishly fucking strong, and Wilt Chamberlain was the freak of freakishly strong. So the article talks about an incident that occurred when he was still high school. He was in high school, I think, getting ready to go to college, and I think an NBA rep had visited him in Philadelphia, if I remember correctly, and he caught a flat while with Wilt. And the guy said, "Hey, can you give me a lift? Can you give me a lift?" He thinks that Wilt's going to take a car jack and jack the car. Wilt actually got behind the fucking car, which weighed probably around 3,000 pounds, and lifted and was proceeding to lift the car. He saw the car go in the air. He stopped Wilt because he thought Wilt was going to get a fucking hernia. But he said he was lifting the fucking car off the ground. And I've heard a lot of different incidences of Wilt showcasing his strength. Picking up players when the refs weren't looking in games, picking up, the now late Bob Lanier, who when he was drafted weighed about 290 something, picking his ass off the ground and repositioning him so that Wilt had better positioning and shit. Wilt used to do all types of shit like that. There was a incident that occurred when Gus Honeycomb Johnson, who was like Charles Barkley without any fat on him, great power dunker in the 1960s. He was like 6'6", 232, and he tried to dunk on Wilt, and Wilt blocked his shot and dislocated his elbow, and they had to carry him off the court. There's pictures of it. I saw something recently where Wes Unseld once said that he tried to block a dunk of Wilt Chamberlain, and his finger got kind of caught between Wilt's arm and the rim, and the force of Wilt dunking the ball actually sliced the skin off of the top of his finger. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that you can see too to show you how strong Wilt is. If you ever look at a game like with the Lakers, 70, 71, 72, and Wilt dunks the basketball, notice how high sometimes the ball bounces off of the court. Now back then they didn't have microphones near the rim, so you don't hear it like how you do like in the 80s onward. But look at how the ball bounces off of the court when Wilt dunks the basketball. It's fucking unbelievable. And he still isn't dunking as hard as he could, you know. But there's a lot of other shit out there. There's the video footage from one of those roasts when Wilt lifts a comedian named Red Buttons. And it was in the comments section. I wrote it years ago. I don't know if it's still up there. Someone said, well, I mean, the guy's only 5'6" and 150 pounds. I mean, it ain't like he's lifting. But the point is, I told the guy, I said, look, even with what you're saying is true, let's say I'm 6'2", right? Let's say I'm lifting somebody let's say I'm lifting Dane DeVito, right? Let's say I'm lifting Dan DeVito from off the ground. The point is, even though he's much smaller than me, it's going to take some type of exertion for me to lift him off the ground. Like, if I'm lifting him, you're going to hear me go, ugh. You're going to see me physically, like, kind of grunt a little bit. Even me being strong, you're going to see me pause and then kind of brace myself to pull his weight up in the air. Wilt picked up Red Buttons like most people would pick up a toy or a puppy. It was like no resistance. It's hard to explain. People don't quite understand or grasp certain things. But anyway, supposedly Wilt could bench press in his prime somewhere around 600 pounds. I find it very plausible considering that it was documented. Now this is documented, and this is what people like to leave out there. When he was 59 years old, he bench pressed 465 pounds. 59 years old. And this is when Wilt had heart problems. He was still able to bench press in 1996, 465 pounds. Shaq, at his best, could bench press 440 pounds. Ben Wallace, at his best, could bench press maybe 460 pounds in his prime. Karl Malone could bench press maybe 380 in his prime. We're talking about a guy that was 60 years old and had some cardiovascular health problems and still able to bench press 465. So you find it hard to believe that 20 years earlier he could bench press 570, 580? Get the fuck out of here.